What the fuck? I didn't bring a skin? Oh my god. Alright. Hi, I'm Ila Rainbow Dash. I'm doing a guide right now for my Vi play. Currently I'm only in silver, but I do not play that much ranked, so you can do with that information what you will. What I do have, though, is a large number of Vi games played, and of course, if you do look at my match history and stuff like that, I have a 80-something% win ratio with Vi, so there's obviously something to be told. Now, first thing I'll break into is the fact that I do run 2190 masteries on Vi. Next, my runes are 80 marks, 80 reds, 5% cooldown reduction in my blues, and then the rest are flat MR, and then flat armor yellows for my yellows. Now, seems pretty standard. A lot of people bring attack speed. Personally, I like just flat AD because I like my Q to do a lot of damage. In the jungle, I prefer to start on your outer buffs, or not buffs, but your outer camps. So like right now, I'll start Krugs. Personally, I believe the Krugs are much stronger than the Gromp buff because you take far less damage because you're actually stunning the target every 6 auto attacks or whatever it is. So, in my opinion, you take less damage, easier to clear through the jungle, stuff like that. But yeah, always start your outer buffs. I smite right away, so I can get the buff immediately. Some people smite it late. Doesn't really matter. So right now I'll start my W to get the attack speed buff and the percent health. So that helps clear early. And I'll start the Krugs, then go directly into my red buff, and then all the way to my blue buff. Some people do camp buff. Personally, I like to only do camp buff, and then potentially go for a gank at level 3. If you know your lanes are going to push and that's not going to be an issue, then you can try to go for something else, but like I said, I try to go for something along the lines that will allow me to gank at level 3. And this is the optimal path, in my opinion, to be able to gank at level 3, and you'll be able to see, once I get done with my blue buff, I'll be at pretty much full health, and anybody that needs help on top side or mid, I could probably go to. However, in this game, they were both pushed all the way up to their turret almost, and I wasn't able to gank them right away. So instead, I went and jungled more. So I get my W first, go in, and then get my E second, just for an auto attack reset. It's not really there for the damage, but it's AoE is nice. It helps clear a little bit better. Like I said, it's all for the auto attack reset to easily get that third proc on your W. But third, of course, I get my Q. And of course, here I made a mistake. I didn't really need to smite blue buff, especially seeing that all my lanes were overextended. It wasn't really an urgent thing to smite it. So instead, I should have came over here and smited Gromp, get that buff, and then cleared faster through my jungle. But as I'm clearing this, I do look around and see that Jace is already relatively low, and he is playing to the side of the lane, so it's possible that I could come in from the side. And right there was my clue of, hey, I should probably go there. Of course, I see him back up, and I decide, never mind, I'm going to go do wolves. And then miss my Q like a really big professional. So, of course, like I said, I do go for... I try to go for a gank early, so I'm still looking around the map. I'm really contemplating this mid lane gank right now. Now, when you're going for, say, a mid lane gank, of course I'm going to top right now, and I know for a fact that if I go top, the chances of us actually killing him is pretty low. I was just hoping to burn a summoner, but right now I see that Garen's not really paying attention. He didn't see them there, and I was pretty sure he had his pool still, but I guess he waited a really long time to use it. But even still, that little amount of damage that I did to him, which actually isn't really that little, was enough to make him back, and that gives Garen a little bit of amount of time to farm freely. So I come in mid, and I'm like I said, I'm still contemplating this. I know if I can land a Q on him, maybe an auto attack, he'll probably be dead. But he's playing really, really safe by his turret. I decide in the end it's not really worth it, and I see Garen over here getting fucked on. I saw that Vlad was the lowest, and there's no way I can get to Garen in time to try to save him. So I'm gonna quick Q over this wall. I know he's sitting right here trying to base. But I know he's dead. Now I come over here, and I know I'm waiting on a cooldown for my Q. But I know if I run this way instead of down towards my base, I'll be able to bait out my Q longer. Because I know he's gonna chase me through his jungle easily. Of course, this fight is super close. Like, I didn't know for sure if I was gonna win it, and the only reason I did win it is because of my W. And of course, especially lower levels, your W is what will win you a lot of one-on-one fights, because you're not going to it's not going to be over in like half a second. You're actually going to get a lot of auto attacks in. However, later on, it's not that big of a deal in my opinion, because most of your fights are pretty much over before you can get more than a couple auto attacks in. So that being said, I do max my Q first instead of my W, because I don't feel as though having a faster clear speed or more auto attack, well, it's not really auto attack damage, but I don't feel as though having a faster jungle clear speed or gaining a faster attack speed from it is really that worth it. Instead, I'd rather have the really high burst damage from your Q plus the added mobility that it grants. Now, right here, I made a mistake, and I realized it right there when I used my smite. I don't want to buy Ranger's Trailblazer. And actually, I just changed that in that custom item set right after this game, because I usually don't make that mistake, but I guess it'd be better just to not have it there, just so I definitely don't. In my opinion, you're better off having Chilling Smite. Your clears are already good enough that you don't need Ranger's Trailblazer. Your sustain's good enough that you don't need Ranger's Trailblazer. And Skirmishers is another option. Look at my next level flash Q. Luckily I hit level 6 just in time, but man, that was really stupid. Really got away with it. But Skirmisher Saber is another okay choice, but the only reason I don't think it's that good is because a lot of times, if you're going to smite somebody, it's the same person you're going to Q into in ult, and you aren't going to be taking damage from them, which is pretty much the only reason you'd want Skirmisher Saber now, because it reduces your damage taken by that champion by 20%. The other thing, though, is that it does grant True Vision, so I would have been okay getting it this game against a Vayne, knowing that she can just ult and then use her tumble and go invis. So it would have been nice to have in a few instances, but honestly, I think you're just better off with the slow, because Vi just becomes so sticky with a 50% slow. It's going to be changed to a 20% move speed steal, but still, you can kind of consider that a 40% slow. Now, so like I said, I go for the Stalker's Blade instead. Don't get Ranger's Trailblazer unless you're like really new at the jungle and you don't really know how to gank well, and instead you're just gonna farm. But Skirmishers or Stalkers, definitely Stalker is better though. One thing that I had an issue with in this game is a lot of times just people not paying attention to different things, going for dragons or barons, or paying attention when I came in for a gank. As you can see, I just said in chat that I was going to go top as soon as I got blue, and you can see Garen's like, oh wait, no, I'm gonna base now. Of course, he is pretty low on health, but so as soon as I start walking away, he stops his recall. So it's just a matter of like, let's make up our mind. I show my appearance up here. Pretty much, if Garen would have just continued his recall, I could have cleared this. I would have shown top, and then Vlad would have backed off, because he knows that I can probably 1v1 him. Either way, same thing as earlier, I don't really have to do anything to Vlad. It just shows that I'm there, and that if he fucks with Garen, I can do something about it, because I've already shown that I can kill him. So I come here, and I'm going to try to kill Jace again. This time I actually land a Q, but at the same time I'm like, you know, this motherfucker kind of hurts. Just a little bit of damage to put on him when Katarina comes in the lane, give her a little bit of an advantage. One thing that I try to make sure I don't do though is just become mindlessly ganking and never farming, because sometimes you don't want to, you'll find yourself like a couple levels below everybody else. Now this was really good, except for the fact she used her flash and then her tumble. As soon as she did that, it became an issue, because no matter if I ulted or not, I was going to tank a turret shot. If instead I would have led with my ult instead of trying to do some auto attacks on her, it would have been better off. We probably could have killed her earlier, but still ended up okay. Just a small misplay. Now after, of course, like I said, I switched to my the Chilling Smite after that because I realized I made the mistake. I always get the Warrior Enchant as well because the armor penetration is really nice on Vi. On top of the armor break on her W. Plus cooldown reduction, etc, etc. Getting your Q off cooldown faster is just the best thing that you can possibly do. Right now it's on a 9-second cooldown, and it's, what is that? I don't have that good of eyes, but I think that's only 4 levels. even if it is fully maxed out now. Now with a 20% cooldown, it's nice to have it on 9 seconds instead of level 1. You have it on like a 16-second cooldown with no cooldown reduction. So definitely having your mobility and high damage off of cooldown earlier is the better thing to have. Now, I know that this bot lane's not warding. I know that their flash is down. So I want to just come straight in here. We'll kill him, and then I'm going to use that smite on Vayne, knowing that she won't be able to get away afterward. She doesn't have her ult, and now she's slowed by 50%. All we need now is just Caitlyn to just sit there and auto-attack her. Now, of course, we kill bot lane. What's the first thing you'd think to do? Dragon, right? No, nobody wants to pay attention to that. So I try to come mid, knowing that Warwick is sitting there to try to help, or to try to gank. Now, I don't have my ult yet, plus she just got blown up, and I missed my Q anyways, so it's just a matter of, that was just an entire misplay. I have to burn my flash there and everything, it's not really that great. Just really bad timing, honestly. And Katarina just got blown up completely. But I have health pots. I'm going to try to stick around because I know Katarina's coming. Well, at least I thought she was. Definitely. Oh, wait, no. Bot lane gave it. There you go. So, now, next thing that I usually try to do is I'll go straight into Eternity Force instead of something like another Brutalizer. Because personally, I believe that it's better to get tankier early on, and getting an early phage is a really nice, easy way to get tanky. Nice 200 health, 20 AD. It's just an overall really good early item. Make sure you actually heal all the way when you go to base. And like I said, just from phage itself, it's 200 health and whatever amount of AD that I don't remember I just said. And then getting a full Triforce makes it 300 health. So it's like half a Randuin's, which is really nice. The only thing that you're missing there is, you know, your actual defenses, like your armor and MR, but that comes in time. Now, I change my build up depending on what our team's looking like sometimes. Like right now I know we've got a Garen. But later on, I found out that this Garen didn't really feel like grouping ever, so I ended up still building pretty much completely tanky after getting my Triforce. If in a normal situation where I know that like a Garen is going to be with our team all the time, I would have instead gone for like Triforce, tank item, and then gotten myself another damage item, maybe a Brutalizer or a Blade of Ruin King, both of which are really good. Getting a Blade of the Ruin King against a team like with a Vlad or a really tanky team would have been really good. But otherwise, if it's a bunch of squishies, I'd go ahead and get a Black Cleaver, knowing that I'd be able to blow them up faster. But like I said, next thing that I instead get is just some more tank items. Randuin's really good. Spirit Visage is really nice as well, just to get yourself the cooldown reduction. And of course, it's just a nice amount of MR. Banshee's Veil is a good option, but again, it doesn't give you that cooldown reduction, so it's just it's meh. Now, 15 minutes in, this is where we kind of decide, hey, we need to probably group a little bit. But right now, there's not really a whole lot to do. I know Dragon's coming up, so from there, I'm sitting there thinking, what am I gonna do? Everybody's dead, Garing's pushing top. I wanted to finish Krugs, and they just took out my ward. I'm here with my support, so I think that she'd be able to put a ward, but guess not. Going there YOLO. I lucked out, and they didn't use smite on it or something like that. They literally just walked away from it at like smite health, so I just queued in and smited it. But you can't always guarantee that it's gonna be that easy, because honestly, I'm not that good at smite stealing. So, we got a nice, easy, free dragon from that, and it just... yeah. Now, as of course we're ending our laning phase, there's only like one little thing to mention that Vi is obviously good with. Which kind of was showcased well with this game, with the fact that like topside never really followed up well and stuff like that. If your laner doesn't really pay attention, and you do come in for a gank, Vi is really good at pretty much just doing so much damage if you land one ability that it doesn't really completely matter if they follow up, because as long as you come in and you land that Q, they're pretty much guaranteed to base from there. That happened topside at least 2 times. So that's one really nice thing about Vi, is the fact that, you know, she's just really good for solo queue. If you don't have somebody paying attention, you just easily just walk in, land a Q, get the hell out of there. The only other thing to really talk about is when to use your Q or when to use your ult. But again, with your Q being on such a nice, really low cooldown, it's not going to be a huge issue. A lot of things that I will try to do, though, is try to just ult directly into the back of the line. I do not always know if it's going to be the Vayne, but I just try to get on somebody that is on the completely other side of somebody, because your ult does do damage to other people that you walk or that you go through. So doing that amount of damage to other people while also getting to the back line, really helpful. That fight just was doomed from the beginning, because I don't think Leona was with us, Garen's not with us. It was just like a 3v5 or something like that. Poor decision making, and Garen's still not really showing any signs of wanting to get out of top lane. But there's a couple different things you can do in terms of when to use your Q or when to use your ult. A lot of times, like I said earlier, I will try to Q in and not immediately use my ult, because your Q does so much damage that if you can hit somebody important with it, you can just blow them up without even having to use it. And especially earlier on, when it's not an actual team fight, you can actually go like bot lane, for instance, and then land your Q on the first person, blow them up, and then use your ult to get the second person. So it's like having a really good, easy gap closer. Just simple. Especially earlier on, you have a longer cooldown on your actual gap closer. So saving your ult early on is really a good decision, especially since it's also on like a 2-minute cooldown. So just making sure to use it when it's actually effective. And of course, when I mean effective, I mean There's one really, really nice side effect to her ult that people do not always pay attention to, and it's that she cannot be stunned, slowed, disabled, or anything while she's ulting someone. So similar to like when how you want to use Master Yi's Q, you don't always want to just use it to gap close, but instead you try to get in there first, wait until you know that they're going to blow a CC move, and then use your ult as soon as they're going to do that. Of course, right before it though, because you can't just like say no, never mind, I'm not going to be CC'd anymore. It's not like a Tristana jump. But yeah. So I try to use it in a sense like that, where I know I'm going to force them to burn CC to no avail. And that's what I mean sometimes by making sure it actually goes to good use, because again, your Q's on such a low cooldown that you don't always need to use your ult. So yeah, always make sure to take that kind of stuff into account. One other thing to note, of course, is your flash Q, but this is something that's kind of a given. If you flash while your Q is charging, and even if you're not going to hit them, you can use your flash, Q, and then ult to pretty much go all the way across the lane to gank somebody. Vi's ganking utility is so strong that you can literally just come in from halfway across, not even halfway across the lane, literally the entire lane away, and still be able to lock them down somehow. So that's another thing that I do use sometimes. Sometimes that's all you need. If you see they're low health, and you see they overstate just a little bit, wanting to get that last little bit of farm. Just a nice, easy cleanup kill from all the way across the lane. Now, I don't remember if I talked about this earlier. I do get red trinket at my start instead of or yellow trinket, because I do know that I'm going to be ganking a lot more. So it's better, in my opinion, to have that denial of vision instead of giving yourself more vision early on, because you can always just buy yourself more wards, but you can never buy yourself like an anti-ward unless you're buying a pink ward. But I mean, honestly, the red trinket's just so nice for that. Of course, one issue that I did know I was going to start to run into is the same issue. You can see it right now. I don't have that much health. I know instantly I'm going to get blown up, so all I have is just that utility to just jump on somebody and fly through their line, do a little bit of damage. We still end up winning this fight, I think, if I remember right. Yeah, we easily win this fight, but I died pretty much instantly. And there's not a whole lot I can do because I'm already locked into getting this Triforce. I can go ahead and try to get something like armor, but honestly, the faster you can get your Triforce completed, the faster you can worry about anything else. Like right now, you can see I'm having a really big like conundrum. I'm just like, what do I want to do? And I realized I had no bonus MR except for my like 9 MR or whatever it is I have from my marks, or not my marks, my glyphs. So I decided to pick up a little bit of MR, probably go into a Spirit Visage or a Banshee's Veil later. That shit almost cost us this, like completely, because I didn't expect the flash. If I would have landed that Q on her, we could have just blown her up really fast. But it's probably better off that we didn't go in, because of course you can see right there their entire team is right there, so I kind of doubt we would have been able to win that fight anyways. So a little bit of a blessing in disguise, except for the fact that everybody's still kind of grouped up like they want to fight. Yeah, as shown earlier, Vi's 1v1ing potential is really strong with a low cooldown interrupt and percent health, attack speed, steroid, whatever you want to call it. So pretty much whenever if you see somebody caught out on their own, you can just kind of walk up to them and almost always be able to take them on 1v1. I do this later on against even Vayne, which I'll admit I wasn't sure I was going to kill her, but I made it work. I walk into the bush, and then instantly know that she's not going to be able to hit me right away. She doesn't have a ward in that bush, so she has to walk up to the bush first. So instantly Q'd her and then auto attack once, and then use my ult. Because that's all time spent. I know that she's not going to be able to Q and get going Viz. And she still hasn't used her Condemn yet, which she ended up using at the end, which is almost what got me killed. The only reason I won that fight was because she was taking minion aggro. So pretty much from here until the rest of the game is your average silver elo, low elo kind of thing. From here on out, this is 30 minutes in, you're just gonna be watching a lot of really bad fights. That's where a lot of the games get thrown in lower elo, is just lack of grouping. Yeah, if you have like one or two people that don't really know what they're doing, and the rest of their team at least has a grasp on their champion, that's another thing that can kind of screw you over. Like a matter of like or Katarina didn't really understand the fact that you had to not cancel your ult pretty much instantly after casting it, and Caitlyn a lot of the times was off doing other things when a fight would get started. Just different stuff like that. So, like I said, a lot of really awkward fights going on. Pretty much that's why you gotta go really tanky and lower elo is why, because if you don't, and your team doesn't group up, and if your tank isn't with them or with you or something like that, chances are you're just gonna get blown up immediately. This is a little bit of a screw up on my part. My Q is off cooldown, so I could have probably ended his suppression earlier, but I still did interrupt it at least, which is it's something. A lot of other things that happen, of course, overstaying. Right now, I would have normally gone to go like Baron or something like that, and then I realized, hey, they got Baron at some point. Now, one thing that I didn't say earlier that is actually pretty important, but it's really only useful early on when you're still ganking lanes, is that your E not only is a auto attack reset, but it also does increase your range by, I do believe it's only 50. Could be 100, but I think it's 50. But it's still a little bit of an increase in range. So you can use that when you're chasing, and you know they only have like one auto attack left, or you have red buff and you haven't applied that red buff yet, and you used your Q already. You can use your E then to get that one auto attack on them from a little bit of a longer range while they're running away. So now, like I said though, if you do find yourselves with a huge lead and you just want to finish the game, definitely the best thing for you to do is just go Baron. Just do Baron. You get that nice buff that lets you push lanes way easier, and you just end the game like that. Even if you can't group up, look, our team really struggled to do, it seems. Doing that and getting that it's pretty much a split pusher buff, because the more people that you have in different lanes, the more lanes that have that Baron buff. So they do increased damage and have increased range, etc., etc. You can see it even in chat, because we've been overstaying this whole time. Just all these extra deaths. There's two people that just died there for no reason. We could have easily just left and got Baron. But I had said in chat, I'm like, can we please just do Baron now? Like, I've been pinging it for like the past 5 minutes. But, like I said, do Baron, end the game. It's as simple as that, and stop overstaying. And just kind of giving yourself up for free. Seeing right there, we're finally getting ready to siege down this tower, and they're like, oh wait, no, now we do Baron. Everybody's alive now, but now we do Baron. So, like I said, even with this kind of terrible timing for Baron, we have so much of a lead that doesn't matter. I believed right there we could start the fight. You know, I thought we had everybody there. I didn't realize Garen wasn't with us. So I start the fight. Now if you realize, I'm dead, Cat's dead already, she just kind of dies instantly, and here's what our AD carry's doing. Now, if I remember right, I did see her at like the beginning of the fight. I think she got taken down a little bit low, and she does have lifesteal, so I think she just went to do the blue buff to get health back. But the fact that she decided to completely clear it while everybody else died in the fight was kind of what's annoying. But regardless, she did finish everybody off, and every lane is pushing now, and so we took all the inhibs, and all she has to do now is walk in there and put the last few auto attacks on the Nexus, and we win the game. That pretty much concludes my guide to Vi. Is really good at stomping a low elo. Really good. As long as you know what you're doing, you know your general jungle mechanics, and even some of the general stuff I tried explaining a little bit more. But if you want to get out of low elo, I think the best way to do it is to play Vi. Just easily just wrecks everything. And just so strong with an initiator and just does a lot of damage. Definitely would suggest giving her a chance in solo queue. This has been I, the Rainbow Dash, and I will see you guys later.